Honestly, you guys, shout out Blond Radio, best radio station ever. Yeah.
That's going at the front of all the episodes now. I hope you know.
No, don't. Wait. Let me retry that better. Welcome to Blond Radio. You're listening to 99 Point Blond Radio. Oh my God, there's announcements going on in my school. Okay.
Hi, I'm Brad. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Chicago. Well, not Chicago, but near Chicago-ish. I'm from the UK.
Thibodaux, Louisiana, which is in the Bayou region.
And wherever you are, welcome to Blond Radio. Hi, I'm Brad. I live on the west coast of Canada. I love films by Charlie Kaufman, and I collect vinyls, even though I don't have a player yet. And welcome to Blond Radio, where each day I book a call with a different stranger from around the world. Today we'll talk to Sam Eve, whose photography projects have brought people together, Jesse, who grew up seeing two very different worlds, and Sam Warren, a good friend and an artist who you probably don't realize you've already seen before. This week at Blond Radio on Instagram, I gave you guys a prompt. What's your favorite thing about art? Here's what you had to say.
My name is Felix. I'm calling from San Leandro, California. My favorite thing about art is that anyone can make it. You could express deep emotions that are too complex to understand. And I believe that's so cool.
Hi, my name is Dolan. I'm calling from Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. And my favorite thing about art would definitely have to be the personal expression. Because certainly when you look at a music or a finalized track, anything that can come out of a product of artistic expression, no matter what, if you're following that flow and not trying to create something that is alike something, you're following your own drive and you're creating something that's purely you, that no one else could have made without your own assistance. And I think that's beautiful. I think that's the most beautiful thing about art is personal expression. Never find the same thing, essentially.
Hi, I'm Denise. I'm calling from the east of England, and my favourite thing about art is how much it says about other people. What kind of music you listen to, or what kind of art you like to watch or even make. It says a lot about you and your personality.
Hey Brad, I'm Nico. I'm calling from Puerto Rico, and I think my favorite part about art is just the hundreds of different ways anyone can interpret just a single piece of art, and how something can mean nothing to someone, but it can mean the entire world to the right person at the right time.
Hello, I'm Santiago. I'm calling from Guadalajara, Mexico. And my favorite thing about art is that everyone has their own perspective of a piece of art, even though it's not the way the artist intended it to be represented. Thanks.
Hi, my name's Lauren and I'm from Ireland, and I think my favorite thing about art is community and everything the arts holds. So from music to filmmaking to the creation of art itself and just the entirety of it all.
Thanks to everyone who called in, and we'll hear more answers throughout today's show. But first, we'll check in with Sam Eve, a design student from Toronto whose videos you've probably seen before if you've been on TikTok, like this one.
Hi, I'm Sam, and I'm really intrigued by perspective, especially the perspective of others. The idea that everyone views the world and things around them differently really excite me. A quote that I really enjoy is from the film Lady Bird, and it says,
"Don't you think maybe they are the same thing? Love and attention."
And I want to see what strangers paid attention to, what they loved. Therefore, I gave strangers a disposable camera, asked them to shoot 2 to 3 photos, then to pass it on to another person. The camera started out in a small town in Ontario, made its way to downtown Toronto, and actually ended up in New York City. It went to 8 different people in a span of 3 weeks. And this is the outcome of the traveling disposable camera.
Now, here's Sam. Hi, Sam.
Okay,
this
hopefully...
is Sam, right?
Yeah.
Cool. First of all, nice to meet you. Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, you as well. Oh my God.
How's your day?
It's been okay. Yeah, I just got back to work, actually. I started, full-time again, so it's a lot.
Damn, where are you working?
I work at a golf store.
Yeah, okay.
I just work in retail. I know, right?
It's a lot of fun. And you're calling from Toronto?
Yeah.
Give me the elevator pitch on Sam. Who are you and what do you do?
Oh my God, that's such a tough question when I don't know, if someone asked me that, I don't know like what defines who I am. Is it my job? Is it what I study?
Right.
Is it what I'm passionate about? I find that question like so hard, but I just like making things.
Totally. You're in university, you're a design student?
Yeah, I am studying design. I'm going into my third year soon.
Oh, sweet. Halfway point. How's that feel?
I know. It's like, it's kind of scary, especially like, I don't know, starting to get a job in the industry is so hard. I'm kind of just nervous about that. But
when did this rooftop photography start for you?
oh my God, it started like when I was like 15. I started really young. It was for fun to see, I don't know, just exploring my city, you know, seeing where I could get. But honestly, it's pretty difficult. And I definitely don't suggest going. Like it's pretty dangerous and it's really fun, but definitely don't recommend.
Fair enough. Do you come from an artistic family?
Honestly, no. I'm the only one
Interesting.
in the arts. Yeah, in my family. Everybody's in business and architecture, so it's kind of weird.
Did that ever like make you feel like on the outs or anything, or?
Not so much on the outs, just tough like figuring out like how to make this into an actual career, because I've always loved making things, whether it's painting, drawing, photography, and just being able to manifest that into something bigger, I find is really challenging.
Totally. It's so it's this thing you love, but to try and make it viable in capitalist society.
Yeah, that's why I'm studying design and not like photography, because I never thought I could like make something out of photography. And the funny thing is, like, I've been sharing my photography online for like 5 years, but I've never gotten traction from it. And I deleted my photography account on Instagram like at the beginning of the year, and I'm like, you know what, nothing's gonna come from this. I'm just gonna like do it as a hobby. And then one of my projects blew up, and now I'm like, oh my God, it's actually kind of like happening, and it's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, that's I've been making YouTube videos for, God, I don't know, years.
Yeah.
I'd tell myself and my friends, like, it's just for me. I don't care if it blows up. But like deep down, you always hope, you know, you make an impact of some kind.
Yeah, of course.
So
oh my God. And just like, just to reach like one person, like, is super important. I don't care how many people watch my TikToks or how many people follow me, but if it's one person that gets impacted from my videos or just like a positive vibe from it.
Totally.
I feel like I succeeded.
Yeah, that's so cool. And but now that you feel like maybe there is some traction here, does it make you at all like reconsider like photography as like a career? I think it
opens a lot more opportunities for me, but maybe less so photography and more so focusing on like the whole video projects and the stuff that I'm doing with like the community that I've made. And I think that's super cool, focusing that rather than just photos, you know?
Totally. And now,
something more impactful.
You have like a audience you can work with now. Like you're currently doing this Polaroid project is so insane. And I didn't know about it until like half an hour ago doing my research. But I'm looking over here at my Polaroid camera, and I'm definitely after this. I'll send you a photo. I know you have a surplus at the moment, but you know, I'd love to throw my hat in the ring.
Yeah, I love that. Oh my God.
Very cool. So I've been a lot of the artists I talk to, you know, I've discovered lots of people come at art from different vantage points. What is art for you? What are you chasing?
Oh man. That's a really tough question. I feel like art for me definitely is just a way of expressing my ideas and just my outlook on life. Like, I'm really not good with words. I'm really bad at like school and like I don't know, the typical sciences and maths, but I find like art, I'm able to, I don't know, express my ideas and how I view the world, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm still just like experimenting because I've never really edited videos before.
That's
or
crazy.
Used a video. Yeah, I'm like working with iMovie trying to like finesse it a bit. I know it's really bad, but experimenting with this whole like video formatting has been like really fun to try just something different.
Totally. And it feels like you definitely have your finger on the pulse of what the TikTok community is about. Like it feels like even though maybe you said you're new to video making, there's a lot of great stuff happening that I just love to see. Like the overhead shot of you opening and closing your laptop, that's so chill. The shot in the mirror of you putting your headphones on, like come on. Like there's thought there, there's intention, which is
Thanks. I'm just like trying my hardest to push myself out of the box to see like how well I can make these videos, because I know like TikTok is such quick content and like people are uploading so many videos at a time and like so many videos a week. But if I spend a week filming a couple days, editing a couple days, making something that I'm proud of, I don't know, it's much more important to me.
Totally. Yeah, it feels very you. God, this is the first time we're ever talking, but it feels like you're really wearing your heart on your sleeve, which I think people really pick up on and engage with. And like, your community seems like they care about you, which is like, they're not just there to be entertained.
Yeah, and I really appreciate that. Just like the support that I've gotten from this is like crazy. Like I said, I've been sharing my stuff online for forever, and now people are engaging with me and I don't know, excited about the projects too. And it's really like heartfelt. Because like you said, I really do put my whole heart into these videos and projects, even if it's just like a 1 minute TikTok that people scroll through.
It seems you're always working on a new project. Like each video you make seems like, oh God, like that basement photography session that's so chill. And that's such a, like, I've been there. Like I felt like, okay, today we're just going to do something weird and different and fun. How do you motivate yourself to, like, where do these ideas come from? And what advice could you give to someone who's like stuck in a creative rut?
Oh man. I just get random like ideas and I write them down. And I think I do get in my creative rut as well. Like I don't, like sometimes I feel super unmotivated to make things, but I think it's the process of seeing like an idea and a vision in my mind, like filming it and then getting in the process of editing it and then picking a song and seeing it come to life is really just like motivates me to make videos, just like that whole process. I think for someone who's feeling like unmotivated or in a creative like block, like even just taking time off is okay. I feel like people are so consistently trying to make things. Like you need to first figure out like why you want to make things, you know? What's the inspiration, what impact you want it to have, or just, it's hard.
No, I like that. And I like that idea. I've never really thought about that way. What the first bit you were saying, if like you future project, you like envision yourself making the project. I always like envision the end goal, but yeah, there's something soothing about being like, yes, I am an artist and I do see myself working on a project.
Yeah. And just when I come up with an idea, I just like, I see the TikTok play out in my head before I even start like filming it. Seeing that end result and if it actually turns out good, like is so satisfying.
Your visions come to fruition, which is like the dream. Again, thank you for taking time out of your day. It's been super chill to talk to you and love everything you're doing. Love your art. Can't wait to see where you go with it. It's so chill.
Thank you. And we'll definitely stay in touch.
For sure. All right. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, I'm Pamela. I'm calling from São Paulo, Brazil. My favorite thing about art is how every form of art in every culture makes me and others feel in such a powerful way. Also, how everyone can be themselves when they create or consume art, because there are no rules. You can express how you really feel, the way you want, or even feel understood, and I think that's incredible.
I'm Regina, I'm calling from Mexico, and I really had to pick this one because I wanna do art in my life, it's all I wanna do, but my favorite thing about art is that every single thing that you can think of, like even it's far away from studying arts, like doing math and studying economics, it has art. Everything has art in it. Everything you do, walking, waking up, everything in the world has art. And I think that's my favorite thing.
Hi, my name's Abby. I'm from Ontario. And my favorite thing about art is that the way you can convey messages using the most simplest things out there. You can just take a canvas, put some paint on there, and the next thing you know, you have a rally going on behind you. You have people listening to a message. There's so much information you can put in using art that if you wanted to explain it using like text or books or stuff, it would take you a lot of pages. So I just like the way art can send out messages to people.
Hi, I'm Elia. I'm calling from Austin, Texas, and my favorite thing about art is being able to share my story and express myself.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, this is Jesse, yeah?
Oh yeah, sorry, my audio is off.
No, it's all good. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. What's going on, man?
Not much. Where are you calling from?
Worcester, Massachusetts.
Hell yeah.
It's about 40 minutes out of Boston. It's like in the center.
Oh, sick.
All that.
Okay, yeah. Awesome. How's your day been?
It's been pretty good. Very weird times we're in right now.
Hell yeah.
Very proactive times, I believe, though. You know, it's like, it feels like history is being made.
Yeah, there's a lot of like, I see a lot of TikToks and memes and stuff right now. It's like we're literally living in like a history chapter that they're going to be teaching one day.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, like a wrench has been thrown into this like monotonous machine. I feel like we've all been living in a sense, you know?
Amen. Yeah. And even, I live in Canada, and even though yeah, we still have issues up here, but they're, I'd say, somewhat detached from, you know, America. But
yeah,
but even up here,
100%,
we're seeing like protests and rallies and stuff, which is like crazy and just awesome to see how far-reaching and global this can be, which is yeah,
like even over in New Zealand too. I was seeing some videos of the protests over there. Yeah, I'm glad change is happening.
Yeah, damn. So but give me the elevator pitch on you. Tell me about you. Who are you? What do you do?
Well, I'm a musician primarily.
Yeah.
Been playing in a band for about 4 years, but I just started my solo project.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, but a big part of what I do and what I want to do in the future is talk about like the huge difference between classes. Because I was granted the opportunity to live in two different class. I've lived in two different classes, basically.
Sure.
So I spent from the age of about 4 to 12 living in a upper middle class home, you know, in a very secure town. The town's called Shrewsbury. You know, not a lot of crime, not a lot of poverty. It's very, very stable. And then when I was about 12 years old, I moved to Rockwood, Tennessee, which was a very poor, it had a lot of economic struggles, right? It's crazy how much you don't know or how much you can really like miss out on when you're living in the middle class, kind of like that safe security bubble. Part of what I want to do is really try to relay the message like it's a completely different world for a lot of these people.
Totally.
You know, I'm one of the lucky ones. You know, I was able to get out of the poverty because I had so many resources available to me. But what it is it's like people are stuck is what I found. That's the biggest thing. It's horrible to see people not be aware of their situation on both sides of like people who are living in middle class homes and they have no idea what bubble they're in, just the same as people in lower class homes don't know the bubble that they're living in, you know?
Totally. And then there's this weird sort of caveat of like the American dream says like if you work hard enough, you can get yourself out of it. But there's so many invisible checks and barriers that just go like uncontested and unspoken about that just really put a bunch of people at a disadvantage.
100%. And I feel like a part of that is people's ignorance, especially people in better situations. It's like, I forget the name of like pulling yourself up by the bootstraps doesn't always work. These people don't have the resources to pull themselves out of the situation that they're living in. It's horrible to see, like even some of my own family members, there would be 8 of them all sitting in a group doing drugs, and while there's like 4-year-olds who don't have like clean clothes, they don't have food on the table all the time. It's and you know, like that's all they know. You know, they don't know that life can be different. You know. that's part of what I've had to sit with and really think about for a long time. Is like, I've been lucky enough to like see what life can be. And I want to share that with as many people. Life can be so much more than your situation.
Totally.
It's all about like finding those resources, and you can't do it alone,
Yeah. What would you say is the biggest, or maybe a few of the biggest discrepancies that you noticed between these two worlds? What things maybe like shocked you the most, or were definitely stuck out the most?
Definitely the amount of like, how do I put this? Like probably ignorance, what people take for granted, like people take their security for granted. One thing I've noticed living in the suburbs is a lot of it's rudimentary bullshit in a sense. The things people care about and the things people like spend their time on seems so minuscule compared to people in poorer situations. And it's just because they don't know, they haven't been challenged, the level of resilience. And I feel like people living in the harder conditions have a chance to develop more if they fight what they're being put up against. It's like one of those things where being put in a bad situation gives you the opportunity to grow more as a person, I believe,
Oh, totally.
Yeah. And that's something that's really weird, because you can't be mad at people for being born into a secure situation. That's something I've really had a struggle with, is because I moved back to Massachusetts in 9th grade when I was about 14 years old.
Yeah.
Only 2 years living in a poorer area of the country. I just became so frustrated with the people I was surrounded with because they had no idea, and that's something that I've really had to struggle with, is the things people care about, the things people find troubling. A lack of, I feel like being in that situation gives you a bigger world perspective, a larger view of of reality, because I feel like the secure life of the middle class is it's a very small percent of what life is actually like for a lot of people. And that's what I think is the biggest difference, is probably the level of self-awareness in a sense.
And it sounds like to an extent there can be like education on all sides,
Yeah, 100%. I think when those two worlds start to understand each other a little bit more, we need that kind of homogenization of information and stuff like that.
And even just like community, like God, you think that even though we all to an extent come from different backgrounds, I hate to bring religion into it, but like I grew up in the church. I grew up going to church, and
as will I.
Yeah, and there's, at least at my church, there was different walks of life in that church. There was people that came from like the poorer communities in the town, and there's definitely like the rich families. But like once we were all in that building together, most of the time, I'm not gonna say all the time, people were looking out for each other. People were communicating and talking and learning with each other. It's hard to, like, I just don't see a lot of opportunity or promotion of just like engaging with the other side as much as, I don't know, there should be, I think.
Right. And I think that's an important thing we need to move towards, especially like even right now. I feel like education is the biggest way that we can fight this kind of division, and a big part of it is that it's just what they learn. I feel like social media can be the unification between these two worlds, because everyone has a phone almost.
Oh, for sure.
At least in America, and I believe that like if we can educate people on the realities, it's like what's happening right now. People are educating on the oppression that people are facing, the injustices that people are facing. And I think that's what's most important to tackle right now. But I believe as we move on, we can start to see like wide scale changes. And there's so much I don't know too,
Right.
I only have one experience. And so, but because of my getting outside of that suburban middle class white America bubble, I've been able to understand that there is more, like once you get that first example of situations being different, it opens your mind up. It's kind of like the more you know, the more you don't know.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's one of those things. So,
because this is something I struggle with, and maybe you can relate, because we're kind of dancing around this topic here. I've been making videos for like on TikTok, literally like only a month, but then like on YouTube for like 4 or 5 years. And it's like my passion. My passion is being behind a camera. I love that. It's great. It's fun. But then there's so much opportunity to help and educate and inform. But then also you have this passion, this thing you're into, like for you, example, music. How do you marry those two concepts, or how do you, because like how do you?
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, sorry. That's why I kind of came into this discussion, not as much talking about myself, but more like the experiences I've had. You know, it's like, I think it's just awareness of the times. You know, like if it was a different time, I'd probably just be talking about my music and not trying as hard to relate what I've gone through to what is going on. It's one of those things where it's like the stuff just has to kind of take a back burner for a little bit, you know?
Totally.
Just help out. And I think it's about helping in any way you can.
Mm-hmm.
The way people need to do it is not treat it as a performance, you know?
Yeah.
Treat it as 100% genuine cause. That's how I've been trying to handle it, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, it's not a performance. It's not about me. It's about how can I push people's message who don't have the platform to do so, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want it to be my words. I want it to be other people's words expressed through my platform. You know what I mean?
Totally.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Because right now in this place and time, you have this great opportunity of, you know, having a platform. So
exactly. And me being white, middle class America, my opinion is I feel like is irrelevant on this issue. Any opinions that I come up with,
mm-hmm.
they're not what's important. You know, I think what I need to do is provide people whose first-hand accounts are like the most important, give them a chance to speak, you know, because me expressing how I feel about the issue
mm-hmm.
is, I don't know, because the way I feel about it is different than someone who's actually in it, you know?
For sure.
It's one of those things where it's like, I don't know how they feel, so why? It's one of those things where, yeah, you know what I mean? It's like you have to be, sharing your opinion can be counterproductive even if your intent is good, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I've been trying to take this whole situation.
Jesse, I do want to thank you for taking time every day and speaking with me. I was wondering in closing if you could, there's a lot of people right now just feeling like helpless and they don't know what to do to just make a difference or even start moving towards positive change. What would you recommend?
I'd say don't let your own experiences stop you from trying to learn what other people are going through. You know, like just because something is good for you, really try to push yourself outside that bubble so you can learn and expand your worldview on certain issues.
Totally.
That's what I'd say.
I like that a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure, man. It was nice talking.
Hey, anytime. I'll talk to you later.
Peace out, bro.
Ciao.
I'm Serena and I'm from Gold Coast, Australia, and my favourite thing about art, and especially in the form of cinematography, is the feelings and emotions it can convey just through a screen. I found it just overwhelmingly beautiful.
Hi, my name is Jasmine and I'm calling from Brooks, Alberta, Canada. And my favorite thing about art is how one piece can be a whole nother thing and mean something else for someone else, no matter what medium it is. It really is subjective.
Hi, I am Diệp. I'm calling from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. And my favorite thing about art is that the way you can express your feelings and thought and put it into your work. And yeah.
Hi, I'm Edward. I'm calling from Ontario, Canada. And my favorite thing about art is its potential for connectivity between all of us. We may be seeing different things within the art piece itself, but we could both sit there and say that it is a wonderful piece of artwork and it could connect us through its various different meanings.
Hi there, I'm Mahan and I'm from Vancouver, BC. And my favorite thing about art is how everyone can look at the same painting but feel and think something differently. Nobody will have the same experience with art, and I think that's really beautiful.
I'm Camila, I'm from Miami, and my favorite thing about art is how it brings certain emotions out of you in a very beautiful way.
Hey, I'm Isabel. I'm calling from Victoria, BC. And my favorite thing about art is that it can be both creative and restorative at the same time. It's like it lets you experiment and explore new ideas, but it's also like so therapeutic and so freeing.
You sound great. You sound fantastic.
Amazing.
I'd ask where you're calling from, but I know you're just down the road.
That I am. Could probably walk over if I wanted to.
Love that.
How are you?
Good.
What's going on with you?
My Frank Ocean vinyls came in.
Oh, no way.
The singles, yeah.
Holy. Those have been in the mail for like months?
Since October.
Oh my God.
Well, that's when I ordered them, but yeah.
That's insane. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Give me just a quick elevator pitch on you, because this is a little different, because I know you, but
yeah,
listeners
the podcast doesn't know me. My name is Sam Warren.
Mm-hmm.
I am a photographer, and bad elevator pitch. I would have walked to the elevator by now. My name is Sam Warren. I am a photographer in Victoria, BC.
Mm-hmm.
I am also studying engineering at the University of Victoria. In my spare time, I like to take photos of people and see friends, ride bikes. Yeah.
That's sick. And yeah, that's and for those of you listening, Sam is actually the cover of Blond Radio, which is
that's right.
That's the little connection there. He's the Mr. Skateboard Man Supreme on the front there. And
it's my 10 seconds of fame. The poster boy for Blond Radio.
And so we actually met through a person we were both maybe
closer with at the time.
Sure, yeah. I feel like in an alternate timeline, or at least it was set up to me maybe that we should have been arch enemies, but
we should have. That would have made for a sick plot, but I don't think we could stay enemies for long.
No,
yeah.
and even I was curated to maybe sort of distrust and maybe dislike you off the bat from outside forces, but as soon as I met you, I was like, oh shit, this guy's tight as hell. So
oh, thanks, man. I felt the same way.
Very sweet. When did you know photography was something that you wanted to pursue?
Oh man, I have on our old computer, and I found a bunch of photos I took in a folder called Sam Shots when I was like maybe 6 or 7. Man, I remember like being like 8 years old. All I wanted for Christmas was one of those Canon digital elf cameras, like a real camera.
Right.
Because I would set up my Bionicles like in front of the fire, and then I'd like take photos of them, and that was so much fun. And so there's a ton of those photos in the Sam Shots library. I guess it kind of spawned from there. I just took photos of everything. I mean, like the TV, everything around my living room. I didn't have much freedom because I was, an infant. But yeah, and then when I turned 12 or 13, I really started to get interested in photography, and my parents gave me a loan of a couple $100 so I could go buy my first DSLR on the one condition that I paid them back within 2 months. So I worked my butt off, and made it happen.
Hell yeah.
Ever since then, I mean, I've just been, I just love photography. It's a good way to meet people.
Mm-hmm.
You either make someone's day with like a really nice photo of them, or like ruin their day with a really awful photo of them. So it's pretty versatile that way.
I guess maybe that's the pursuit, is to try and make
everyone's day.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm in it for.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You've only moved once?
I moved once when I was a year old.
Right. Vast majority of your life, you've been in sort of the same area. And I was wondering, do you feel like that like smothers your artistic opportunity? You're kind of stuck in the same views, the same horizons, or is that sort of pushing you to see the space around you, this physical space, in like different lights, different perspectives?
It's a really good question. It's a bit of both. I mean, like for the first years of owning a digital camera, all I would do is I would get on my bike and I just ride around Brownwood Bay where we live. And just go take photos of like stuff I saw, like flowers and leaves and the beach and stuff in the ocean. Your logical mind starts to take over, and you think to yourself, oh, I don't really need to go out and take photos around the bay. Like I've done it 1,000 times now, and I probably have done it upwards of a few hundred times by now. But every time I put the logical brain away and get the creative brain out, I always end up really enjoying it. And I like the photos I take when I'm out. So it's kind of a mix. Like I think if you stay in the same area a lot, and that's mostly what you're, photographing on the day-to-day, it can kind of hinder your creativity just because it kind of squashes your motivation to actually get out and take those photos. But once you're out, I mean, it's so refreshing to see things that you drive by every single day from a different perspective, especially if you're walking or on a bicycle. It just kind of slows everything down, and you get a second look at everything. It's kind of cool.
I like that. I don't know if you remember, I guess it was over a month ago now, but I had a little stint where I was posting photos to my story every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's when it clicked what you're talking about. That's when it really kind of clicked for me, because I think previously I was always sporadically whenever the mood hit or whenever we were going out with friends, but forcing yourself to get into that space and like just do, like, it could be shit, but like
just get out there.
Something's gonna happen.
Yeah, like creativity, like, you know, many aspects of life is a lot like a muscle. You know, you have to stretch it, you have to kind of work it. It's going to be uncomfortable sometimes, but if you get it and do it every day, that's what's going to make a difference in the long run. I mean, I went through a phase where I was shooting every single day as well. I just completely overbooked myself with like people to shoot.
Yeah.
So every day was someone new. And at first I felt exhausted going into it. I was like, because I was feeling really burnt out already. And I just didn't want to do it, but I just kind of forced myself to. And after I was done, that's some of like my favorite work so far.
Right.
Was that short period of time where I just hit it super hard. I don't know. It's interesting. Like the more you take photos, the more you kind of run through your ideas and have to think of new ones. And that's when it gets exciting.
Ooh.
It's when you kind of run out of the things at the forefront of your imagination, ironically enough.
I like that. And not even saying you're taking like bad photos, but like like you're saying, you're running just to the end of, okay, now we can start making new stuff.
Exactly.
What feeling are you chasing from art? Is there a prevailing motivation for you?
You know, it's not, I don't know. A lot of people, I've listened to like a lot of photography interviews, and it seems like the vast majority of photographers kind of know what they want to say, or they have an idea in mind, and they go out and they shoot it, and it's great. I kind of envy those people, because most of the time I'm just kind of, I don't know, freestyling it. Some people, you know, they figure out what they want and they let that drive their art. But I think for me, it's almost like the opposite. Like I learn a lot about myself from what I'm into shooting at the time. Like if I just don't really want to shoot any portraits, I just want to shoot, you know, pictures of buildings or people in solitude on the street or something. It's like, it's more informative to me than it is expressive. Yeah, it's weird. It really depends on the mood I'm in. I want to find the balance between being a people's photographer and a photographer's photographer. I feel like,
well, what does that mean?
It's really easy to be a people's photographer. I could just go out right now, buy like, I don't know, an A7R4 and shoot 65 megapixel photos of lens balls on the beach for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And they'd probably be a hit online, but it would drive me insane. To me, like a people's photographer is, you know, it's not necessarily, it's not a bad thing. It's what you see most of on Instagram pages that are like the Jordi Qualitic, people that like kind of take advantage of cool effects. Nothing against them, and they're really cool photos, and I enjoy them. But it's more to kind of gather the attention of a massive group of people. And to me, it feels like a little sellout-ish, because these are really talented people.
Totally.
And they're kind of replaying the same ideas as everyone else.
It's
and
like
it just
a shortcut instead of an original path.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a little like, it's like disheartening to see it so much, because these people have everything they need to make like super interesting original content. And a lot of it's just kind of regurgitated ideas. Not to say that I'm not also a victim of that. I mean, you look at my stuff and compare it against like most of the major film photographers, you'll see a lot of similarities too. But the other side of the spectrum is being a photographer's photographer, where, you know, people that are really invested in the art will appreciate it and probably really enjoy it.
Yeah.
But you're also cutting out maybe people that aren't as in tune with that side of things, don't really understand the process, and it just kind of goes over their head. There's so much stuff that still goes way over my head. I see something and I'm like, well, this is like a shitty photo. And then all the comments are like, this is incredible work. Like, wow. And it's all like really esteemed photographers. And it's like, oh, man, I just don't get it. Finding that balance and being able to, you know, influence a lot of people's lives, but also still maintain that side of things where, you know, I'm not just kind of selling out on old ideas, and actually kind of bring something new to photography.
I like that a lot. Yeah. It's because you want to have, to a certain extent, a universal appeal, but then also you want to hit that niche, and
it's a hard balance.
That's tricky. That's like
super tricky.
God, even like in the film world, like there's only so many directors that can pull that off, you know? So it's
exactly. Yeah.
What advice could you give to someone who's intimidated by taking the next big step forward in their art? Because I feel like, especially, oh God, when did you start shooting film? A year ago?
Just about exactly a year ago. Yeah.
Oh shit. Damn. Yeah. Because I feel like that for you was like this huge kind of
That was a big step.
It's a commitment. I feel like you really stuck to the landing. Like, of course, like making that transition, you're gonna have your rough spots off the bat. But like, I feel like so confident to call you like a skilled film photographer now. Like, there's not. It's not like my pal who's like messing around with film maybe, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, and then they post on Instagram and the exposure's all off or whatever. Like I feel like you really settled into not only the craft of film, but also like your artistic vision. You've married those two nicely. So like, what advice would you give to someone who wants to take that step in whatever their field is?
It's tough because in film photography, it's not exactly like the next step. It's just a different kind of photography, although some people would argue otherwise. Some people think that if you're shooting digital, you're not a real photographer and film is superior, blah, blah, blah. I don't really believe in that. I think, a good photo is still a good photo on digital. There's no arguing that. This is actually a quote I'm stealing from Devin Blaskovich. Check out his Instagram. It's really cool.
Oh, sweet.
But he says a good photo on digital is still a good photo, and a bad photo on film isn't a good photo.
That's very true.
But if you're interested in film photography, there is a super rich community out there right now of young, super talented photographers. And even if you're not a photographer and you're just looking to take the next kind of big step into whatever you're doing, just try it. I mean, if it costs money, read up about it, I guess, before you make an investment. Maybe see if there are some friends in your local vicinity that can give you a sample before you commit. But the biggest thing is just trying it. Some people fret so long over like, oh, should I make the jump to film? Should I like buy an SLR?
Right.
And like start investing money in film photography? Like, I don't know. But the truth is every film photographer started shooting film. They just started one day and that was it. And the rest of it just kind of fell into place. So the more you dwell on it, the more you're just kind of delaying it. If you're really interested, it's probably going to happen.
Damn.
And, Mikey, just do it.
Well, thank you again, Sam. Taking, time out of your day, speaking with me, being very open artist, fellow creative. Always appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'm honored to be a part of it.
Anytime. I wish you a lovely evening, and I'll talk to you later.
You too, Brad. Take care.
Ciao. Special thanks to our guests Sam Eve, Jesse, and Sam Warren for making this episode possible, as well as everyone who submitted a response to the prompt. Our intro music is provided by Wayfie, that's Wayfie, and accompanying tracks by Loboil, that's Loboil, who can both be found on all major streaming platforms. See you soon, and thanks for tuning in to Blond Radio.